Hello everyone, my name is Ilnur Anwarbek and today I made a presentation about an employment contract. So let's start. Today I will talk about the main provisions of the employment contract for employees hired under categories A3 and G5. And this document is designed to ensure transparency and protect the rights of both the employer and the employee. Let's look at all the key elements using the example of the contracts between the US Ambassador John Smith, he is the employer, and Emily Johnson, the employee. So the slide number 1 is the most important part of the contract is the definition of the parties. The details of the employer and employer are shown here. John Smith's employer is the US Ambassador working in London, and the employee is Emily Johnson, a Canadian citizen. This is important for understanding the legal basis of the contract. The A3 and G5 contract is necessary to regulate labor relations between diplomatic missions and their employees working in the United States. This agreement protects the rights of both the employer and the employee by providing clear and transparent conditions that exclude possible legal disputes. It includes the obligation of the parties, describes responsibilities, working hours, pay, vacation, and other important conditions, which helps to ensure compliance with labor norms and standards. Second slide, the general provisions. Section contains important points for both sides of the contract. First, both parties must sign 2 additional copies of the contract so that each has its own copy. It is also important that the contract is drawn up in English, which the employee understands and which ensures clarity of the terms. This section also specifies the start date of work, November 1 of 2024, and the employer undertakes to comply with all US laws, not to take away the employee's personal documents such as a passport or visa, and not to charge any additional fees for hiring. And these provisions protect the rights of the employee and provide legal security for both parties. Third slide, what to say, the section description of duties is important so that the parties can clearly understand what task will be assigned to the employee. This helps to avoid misunderstandings and controversial situations. For example, child care includes not only supervision but also help with studies and entertainment, which helps to provide comprehensive care. Housework separates the responsibility for cleaning and taking care of clothes to avoid confusion about who is responsible for what. Cooking and kitchen maintenance are precisely prescribed to ensure that the employer is satisfied with the nutrition and cleanliness in the kitchen. Taking care of the garden will help to maintain the appearance of the house and garden in order. And finally, writing down other responsibilities such as the shopping and travel assistance helps to ensure clarity about what an employee should do in addition to basic duties if such tasks. The next slide is hours of work. This section sets clear limits on working hours. The employee works 40 hours a week from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m., which helps to plan work process and personal time. Weekends are also provided like Saturday and Sunday, which is important for rest and recuperation. Overtime is paid at a rate 1.5 times higher, which complies with US laws and guarantees fair payment for additional hours of work. The next section is vacation and holidays. This section sets out the employee's vacation guarantees. He receives 10 paid sick days, which allows him to rest in case of illnesses, and 15 vacation days per year for normal recovery. And the employee is also entitled to 8 federal holidays, which corresponds to US standard. And the next topic is the Vegas taxes and benefits. This section is important to provide financial transparency and security for the employee. The salary is $20 per hour with regular payments every 2 weeks. The employer also provides health insurance, which ensures the health of the employee. This section also states that the employer undertakes to comply with US taxes, and including all mandatory social contributions, and then important provisions, no unauthorized deductions can be made from employee's salary, which we take him from. The next topic is anti-harassment policy. This section is important to create a safe and respectful work environment. The employer is obligated not only to create such an atmosphere, but also to ensure that the employee will not be subject to relation for reporting violations. This builds trust and maintains morale in the workplace. And the next topic is registration and termination. This section gives both parties clarity on termination. Both parties can terminate their contract with 4 weeks notice or compensation, which helps avoid awkward situation. It is also important that all outstanding wages must be paid upon termination, which ensure financial fairness. And the last one is the signatures. This section is the final part of the contract, where both parties confirm their willingness to abide by its terms. The employer's signature means that they accept responsibility for all obligations, including wages, vacations, and compliance with laws. The employer's signatures confirms that they have read the terms and agree to abide by them. It is also important to note that the signing date marks the start of the contract and is the basis for calculating the notice period in the event of termination. The signatures of both parties make the contract legally binding, and in the event of the dispute, it can be used in court as evidence of agreement on the terms. And also, by signing the contract, both parties confirm that the agreement is entered into voluntarily and with full understanding of all the terms. Thank you all for the attention. Terima kasih banyak.